Hi everyone, I'm Malcolm Young, the Executive Director of Chinatown Community Development Center, and I want to welcome you to CCDC 44 Years, Chinatown is in the Heart. While we were hoping to celebrate our 44th anniversary with you in person, COVID got in the way again. So unfortunately, there will be no after party this year. I repeat, there will be no after party this year. This past year and a half of the pandemic has been challenging to say the least. The weekly ups and downs has put us all in a tailspin. And through all of this, there is a silver lining, and that silver lining is you. Because of your support, Chinatown CDC has been able to step up in so many remarkable ways. We launched a food program called Feed and Fuel Chinatown. We jumped into public health work to make SROs safer and to coordinate testing and vaccines. We fought for community safety and distance learning equity, and that's just the new stuff that the pandemic demanded from us. Keeping the existing work going was just as hard. Because Chinatown CDC is an essential business, we were never able to shut down, we were never able to work entirely from home. But rather than just keeping the trains running, we made real gains. We completed 2 housing projects and broke ground on a 3rd. We significantly improved our property operations and resident services, and we brought our grassroots partners online to continue our critical community building work. I am so proud to be a part of this Chinatown CDC team. But if 2020 and 21 have been about staying resilient and weathering crisis, in 2022 and beyond, we must think about more than just how to survive. We must work to make Chinatown thrive. Recoveries can be inequitable. We saw how the recovery from the Great Recession deepened the wealth divide. We cannot let COVID recovery transform the things about Chinatown that keep this place in people's hearts. We have to make sure that the restaurants, grocery stores, nonprofits, and all the myriad of places that helped working families and seniors survive this pandemic do not get displaced by recovery-driven gentrification. And while the people and stories we are honoring today vary in so many ways, one common thread runs through them all. Chinatown is truly in their heart.
Chinatown, it holds us together. That means the responsibility to look after your parents as much as you look after your children. It's consideration for what went on before you, as well as what will come after you. My father and my grandfather's generation built the railroads and the laundries and dig the coal mines. Everybody's aspiration was going to go mountain and get rich. I'm no exception, I guess.
A lot of the Chinese first came over as part of the gold rush. They saw that coming to San Francisco, there was a chance to earn money and to get educated. There's a big part of me that's the Chinese American background that I have. Growing up there in Chinatown provided my parents with everything they needed to be successful and to raise a family. I've watched San Francisco change, and Chinatown is definitely different, but I think it still serves that purpose for helping immigrants adjust to American society.
People here in America, think Chinatown as very poor. As a kid, when people would go like, "Oh, where do you live?" I didn't want to say I lived in Chinatown. And it wasn't up until high school that I became proud because I learned the history of what our community did to stay where we are today. Through hard-fought fights, it made me realize I want to also do the same. I want to also advocate for my own community.
Everybody that's come through Chinatown had a dream or has a dream. Maybe it's because that's what I've seen my entire life, is watching my dad's generation, my grandparents' generation, just working really hard to have a better future for their next generations.
It's an integrated living community where people want to live. It's not a museum.
The importance of Chinatown is really to serve the immigrant population and to be there for the people who want to use it.
We all love Chinatown so much that we would fight to make sure we keep Chinatown and make sure Chinatown survives.
We have 3 award categories this year, which are new for Chinatown CDC. First, the Community Angel Award honors a supporter who is from the community, someone who was born, raised, or spent time in Chinatown, and because of their enduring love and connection to Chinatown, continues to give back. And second is the Alan E. Lowe Super Partner Award, shines a light on outstanding key partners in the work that we do. But why and who is Alan E. Lowe? Alan is a longtime partner at Perkins Coie LLP by day, and by nights, weekends, and even some holidays, is the most prolific pro bono provider of support year over year for Chinatown CDC, which means that in any given year, if no other partner rises to the high bar of excellence that Alan has set, then the award will simply go back to Alan himself. And third, the Lifetime Achievement Award recognizes members of the Chinatown CDC family who have served the organization for 2 decades or more. I think we all know who that honoree is this year. Norman, we wish we could have all been together to celebrate you. But since we can't, we hope this virtual tribute will do a tiny bit of justice until we can party with you in person. And one final note you might find that's missing from this presentation is an award from Mackenzie Scott. Earlier this year, Ms. Scott made a major gift to Chinatown CDC, one that will transform this organization into the future. And with that said, we opted not to present an award to Ms. Scott out of respect for her wishes to shift any and all recognition towards the good work of the organizations themselves. Who can ask for a better supporter? We are humbled and grateful to have been recognized by her.
Gary and Rita Lim have dedicated their lives to philanthropy and giving back to the Chinese diasporic community, including contributing to English language programs in rural China over the last several decades. Although based in Hong Kong today, Gary and Rita spent much of their early years in the Bay Area and San Francisco Chinatown as new immigrants finding their way. Chinatown holds a special place in their hearts as they continue to care deeply about the welfare of struggling immigrant families and seniors living here today. Last year, during the height of the pandemic, as hardships and challenges weighed even heavier on these families, Gary and Rita made a generous donation to Chinatown CDC to help ensure much-needed food security and safety for Chinatown residents. Chinatown CDC would like to bestow the Community Angel Award to Gary and Rita Lim for their commitment to serving our families and seniors in need. With the Lim's contribution all the way from Hong Kong, it's clear that through our hearts and minds, the Chinatown community extends well beyond these 24 square blocks and even San Francisco. We thank the Lims for being our community angels. While they couldn't be here in San Francisco to accept the award, the Lims have recorded a thank you message from Hong Kong.
Rita and I are honored to receive this fantastic award, and we are really humble for such. I'm not so sure it's deserving from our part, but we accept it with great honor and humility. Thank you for CDC Chinatown.
Thank you so much.
In March 2020, CCDC launched Feed and Fuel Chinatown in response to the devastating effects of the global pandemic on the Chinatown community. The 3-month-long program supported shuttered restaurants, re-employed workers, provided free meals to low-income families and seniors, and helped to ensure safe living conditions in crowded single-room occupancy hotels. But 1 year later, as the pandemic refused to let up, our most vulnerable residents were still in need of food security and economic relief. That's why, in January 2021, in partnership with SF New Deal, CCDC relaunched Feed and Fuel Chinatown for a second time. Over the course of 6 months, SF New Deal helped us deliver over 325,000 meals from 57 Chinatown restaurants to 3,200 SRO residents in Chinatown. We are so grateful for SF New Deal's enduring commitment to caring for our community's most vulnerable and for their critical role in helping us feed and fuel Chinatown. On behalf of Chinatown Community Development Center, I am honored to present the Alan E. Lowe Super Partner Award to Bo Lai and everyone at SF New Deal. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Alan. We at SF New Deal is extremely happy and honored and humbled to be able to accept this award. With the collaboration together with San Francisco's Human Services agencies and also Chinatown CDC, we're very happy to be able to provide these services to the communities in need. We look forward to other further projects together with the community and also with CCDC. Thank you so much.
Norman Fong was born at the Chinese hospital. It was about a decade after Bruce Lee was born at the Chinese hospital. Bruce was one of Norman's heroes. And Norman was actually sort of named after Bruce Lee, since Norman's Chinese name is Fong Sulong, which means little dragon. Like many young people of color in his generation, Norman's life could have taken many different turns. But it was adversity, in the form of an eviction from his family home, and the support from the community in the form of the Cameron House Youth Program, that set Norman on the path of lifelong activism. Before joining the Chinatown CDC in 1990, Norman was already a community hero, having returned to Cameron House to lead their youth program. Upon joining the Chinatown CDC, Norman made an immediate impact. He launched the Chinatown CDC's award-winning community organizing program, our youth leadership program, and a Chinatown Workers Center. Norman also led the charge on numerous national campaigns, including organizing the community to support the family of Detroit auto worker Vincent Chin, who was the victim of a heinous hate crime. During that campaign, Norman met lifelong hero, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Norman likes to brag that he has been arrested more times than anyone you probably know. Of course, they were all for good causes. Norman is not just about business, though. He led the community in having fun. As the frontman for the Bay Area's longest-standing funk band, Just Jammin', he introduced Chinatown to a whole new genre of partying. He's also enlivened the Chinese New Year Parade for the last 20 years as the grandstand master of ceremonies. Norman entered a second phase of his leadership when he took over as the Chinatown CDC Executive Director in 2011. During his 10 years as ED, Norman led the Chinatown CDC to acquire or develop 14 housing projects and 1,300 units, including a complete remodel of Chinatown's Pingyun public housing projects. Norman also launched a Chinatown Affordable Housing Preservation Program. As a result, Norman nearly doubled the size of the organization from 138 to 236 staff. Along the way, he won a White House Champion of Change Award from President Barack Obama and celebrated Just Jammin's 50th anniversary. Most recently, Norman helped bring the Reverend Jesse Jackson back to Chinatown to support us in the midst of yet another wave of anti-Asian violence. While Norman has retired from Chinatown CDC, he will never retire from his lifelong mission of leading Chinatown towards social justice. Reverend Norman Fong has served this community for his entire life. Norman, you're beautiful.
我好榮幸代表華協中心同埋社區住客聯會頒發呢個終身成就獎同埋社區住客聯會嘅字畫獎俾方小龍牧師。哇！好多謝。
This is probably one of the best honors in life. Today we're celebrating not just me, but the heart of Chinatown. And I've had the honor to work for decades for the community and to see leadership like CTA grow. I want to thank all the Chinatown CDC staff and board. There's too many to name, but I'll name a couple. Malcolm, power to you as you take on the legacy into the future. Thank you, Karen, again, Whitney Jones, Kathy Lam, Angela, and all the organizers. Thank you so much, because we will keep the heart of Chinatown strong. Can I get an amen?
We'd like to end our program with a look at what we've done this year as an organization and community.
In doing so, we honor the quiet heroes behind the scenes.
The incremental wins alongside our huge challenges, and the spirit that pushes us to support each other every single day.
This past year has been like no other.
All right, it's 2:05 and I am going to start the meeting now. Hi, everybody.
Good morning, everyone.
Oh my gosh, it's so great to see everybody.
All right, so I'm going to pass it to Whitney, who's going to introduce our first speaker of the day.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Rachel. So I'm the new staff of COTT.
I'll be Malcolm's new assistant.
I only met you guys for like 3 minutes and already I'm really into it.
This is indeed Dodger Stadium in LA, but just to be clear, I was there rooting for the Giants. This is Waipio Valley on the big island of Hawaii, and I switched this one because I wanted to bring some winter vibes into some of my meetings.
I've also been using this background, which you guys should be very familiar with. Yes, that's right. It's Central Subway, Chinatown Rose Pack Station.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome.
Last thing I want to say before we leave is I encourage folks to read in the chat an article about a good friend of mine, Gail Seagraves, who passed away and who was a SRO resident in the Tenderloin and was an incredible fighter for her community.
社區住客聯會恭祝大家新年快樂，身體健康，牛年行大運。
We expanded out and up.
Many people look at Mayor Lee and know he has many different legacies. But to me, one of his most important legacies was how he brought affordable housing back into the mainstream political conversation of San Francisco and made it something critical for the city to do.
From Mission Bay to Treasure Island. We welcomed new residents, new improvements, and new open spaces. We cared for our community's health, vitality, equity,
檢測安排嗰啲時間都係覺得唔足夠，佢應
and spirit. We connected in innovative ways.
CAT stands for Chinatown Alleyway Tours, which focus on the alleyways and turn kind of the deeper stories behind Chinatown.
We connected through culture. We connected through love.
Reverend Jackson! 多謝 Jackson 牧師 Everybody, there he is!
And we finally connected in person. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you.
Oh my gosh, it's so great to see everybody.
Thank you all for joining this celebration, and please don't forget to visit our online silent auction, which will end on October 1st.